Guys, welcome to this video. In this video we'll be talking about the plans that we have for this tic-tac-toe game. So our plan is just basically how we are going to what are things we are going to do to achieve and make the tic-tac-toe game works. Like initially, this is where we are currently at. We created a variable post one post two to that of post. Now we made the game board. So that's just basically where we stopped in our last video. So in this video, we are going to look at the plan we're going to do, how to are going to do. You can see this is the board we were able to create in our last video. So what is our plan? The first plan that we are going to um, implement is that of we are going to change this variable from A to that of board. So it will be a little bit it will make sense a little bit. Not giving a variable A, what does A stand for? It's not going to make sense. Well, we are going to change this A to board. It's just changing our variable name. And then the reason why I put this post 1, post 2 to that of post 9, because I can just manipulate this post variable, and then when I change it, the value on the board down here is going to be changed also. So that's why in this way it's going to be to understand it more as a beginner. In this way, there's a whole lot of complex way that I should have done it, but I'm going to reduce our code. But for a beginner, I'm someone that will want to understand how Python really operates. This is the best way I can to make it as easiest way possible. Here what we just did was just to create a board with a variable that I've initiated already. So the next step we are going to do is that of manipulating these values here and these outcomes here. So we're going to manipulate it, which like I said earlier, that's why I created these variables, so I can easily manipulate them. It will be so we can easily understand them also. So after we're done manipulating it, we're going to but before manipulating it, we need to let the player one to select which representative does he want, whether if he want X or that of 0. Once the player one chooses, second option is left for that of player 2. In instant the player 1 chooses, tend to choose X, so player 0 is going to second player is going to be that of O. So that would be the second step. And then the third step, what we are going to do is to manipulate. I know I've said this, but this should be our second step, because when the player enters what he wants, so the player 1 is going to play next, and then we manipulate it and then let it be inside. Let's say in a situation where the player 1 entered X, so we want something here to be X, and in our case, but it's going to be this variable that is going to change for it to appear here. So when you're done manipulating it, manipulate for the player 1 and for that of player 2. So the next we're going to look at is if there's a winner, if a winner occurred during the runtime of the game, we are going to stop the game. We're going to break the game and tell them that to prompt the person that won the game. If it's player 1, I'm going to let the players that user 1 is the winner, and which place the player 1 whether if it's in this is row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2, column 3. You can also win in diagonal ways. So this should be the next step. And then after that, if there was a winner, we are going to stop the game. We're in a situation where the two players decide to be a little bit stubborn. Nobody wants to lose and nobody one the other wants to win. The board can get filled up. And then when the board get filled up, no place that someone can play again. And that leads me to one of the options that I missed, one of the steps that's crucial that we should also implement, is that of going to be in a situation whereby a player 1 decides to play in this position, which is the post 1, and then the player 2 decides to play there too. We are not going to allow the player 2 to play there since somebody has played there. So that's basically where someone plays something, we can't change it to you can let the next player to decide where to play next. And another thing I wanted to mention in this video, that doing this tic-tac-toe in this way is less efficient, and then it's time consuming, and also the code that's going to be written here is going to be pretty much. But it's going to give as a beginner, the best the simplest understanding that they can think of. So that's just basically what our plan is going to be. The first plan is to letting the player one to choose whether if you want the art of X or once we've done that, we're going to instantiate that. We're going to store that to that of player one, and the other one is going to be that for player two. Next step is to manipulate these values here. After manipulating, to draw it on the board. Then after drawing it on the board, once somebody enter, player one decides to play in maybe position one, and then we can let the player two know that I can't play in position one, you can play in another position. And we are going to do this. Here is going to be numbers. As you like, I'm going to change all this to numbers. Here is going to be numbers. So you just play according to the number that is available there. So, but I think when we start it, we're going to understand it more. So I think this should be the end for the video. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. So I'll be happy to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.